How did you end up trying out for it?
Mm-hmm. So I actually auditioned for season 2, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, even before that, it's funny because I got hired to do some promo makeups for the season 1 release. We were at the Grove. They had a booth set up or something. We were just doing makeups on people to kind of spread the word about the show in the first place. And then season 2 rolled around. There's a convention out here called Monsterpalooza, and it's basically like all effects guys come out there. And Face Off was holding auditions there. And I went in and I auditioned for season 2, and they didn't want me, actually. I didn't make it. But it's funny because I went in, like, thinking I was, like, all cool and, like, yeah, I got this. Like, yeah, and then I did the interview, and then I'm like, all right, I think I was good. Then they posted it on Hulu, of all places, for some weird reason, and I watched it back, and I'm just, like, they're like, so what are you going to bring to the show? And I'm like, fun. I'm a fun guy. I like fun. And I was like, stop saying fun. Stop saying we're fun. What are you doing? No. You know, like how you build something up in your head and you think it was one way and then you see it played back and it's like, nope, not that way. So understandably so, I didn't make it. But also I was trying to go in there and be somebody that I thought they wanted, you know? And so it obviously didn't come off as genuine because... And that's why I'm a big advocate of speaking out and encouraging people to be themselves because, you know, you're the only you that is, and there's a reason why you're here, you know, it's to be you. And so season 7 rolled around, and I was kind of bitter. I was like, they didn't take me, whatever. And then Rannie actually convinced me, and she's like, you know what, just audition, just do it. And I was like, okay. Well, this time I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to be like me to the max. So the second time, I filmed an audition video where it was basically, I filmed it documentary style, where I was me playing all the characters talking about me. So you can actually see this on YouTube. Wow. It's on our BizarroAuGoGo YouTube. But yeah, it was just super ridiculous. And I was like, they're either going to love this or they're going to hate it. And apparently they loved it because it got me on the show.
Wow. So how long between the audition process and the show begins filming?
Oh man, that's a good question. It's such a blur now.
A while ago.
It had to have been like a month or two in between, and there was sort of like different rounds of, like, you know, the video got me to come in for an in-person interview, and then that had to go through some rounds of cuts, I guess, and then I think maybe they had me in for one more or something, and played out over kind of like about a month or two, and then and then we had to clear our schedules and lie to our family that we were going to be because it's, you know, it's all secretive. They want to protect the integrity of the show. So I had to tell my family and friends that I got a job in China or something, which is kind of funny because when I came back, everyone's like, "Oh, what was China like?" And I'm like, "Oh, it was cool." What'd you do? I'm like, "Oh, saw stuff. I don't know.
Chinese stuff."
Yeah.
Oh wow! So you can't even start saying anything until, I guess, when the show's getting ready to air.
Yep.
Oh wow. What's it like that first day on the set of the show, meeting all the artists?
So strange. So basically, they wanted to keep it secret even after we saw each other. We until the first moment when we were on camera. So basically, we stayed overnight in a hotel before they took us to the cast house, and they're just referring to us by our initials. And then they bring everybody out and load up the vans, and we're not allowed to talk to anybody. We're just all of these like super scared, freaked out people that are just standing there awkwardly, not allowed to talk to each other. And then the first moment that we were finally allowed to even say anything to anybody is when the camera started. I think that first episode of season 7 where we walk into that church or wherever it was, that was like the first time anybody's able to talk to each other.
Wow.
So it was really strange because it goes against every kind of social order that you've come to learn. Really? You know, it's like, yeah, you have to, I mean, they took really good care of us, but there's time you got to like have someone accompany you to the bathroom and,
really?
You know, all of, Yeah, they take your cell phone away. They didn't even let us have like photos of family photos because they called it the bubble, and they wanted everybody in the bubble and not thinking about anything outside of the bubble, I guess. So, yeah, Rannie actually, she made me a card that had a picture of our dog, Tupac Shakur, on it, and it was like written to me as if it were him, and they confiscated that. And I'm like, this is like worse than prison. We can't even have photos here? What the heck?
Really? Damn.
Yeah. So.
Well, now, you really do have to bring your own makeup kit with you?
Nope, they provide everything, which is pretty great. Yeah.
So when they say pack up your kit, it's really their kit.
Yep, and also, fun fact, you don't get to take those kits home. They just,
yeah, I guess not.
Yeah. When you see the people walking, like their walk of shame, I guess, to leave, that hallway goes to nowhere.
Yeah.
Also, it's there's no door there. They just have you walk down the hallway with a kit that you don't get to keep.
Just for the shot. Wow. And so, what was it like getting into that gigantic makeup studio with all the makeups on the wall, all the prosthetics, all the equipment? That must have been something.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was, man, some of the stuff that I did when I was there, I look back on it, I was like, man, how the heck did I do that in like 2 days, like 2 to 3 days? I can't work that fast now. It's just something about like being in that setting where everything is provided for you and you don't have to worry about anything but cranking out, art. It's stressful, but it's awesome because it really does, like, when I see why they do it the way they do, is where, they confiscate the photos and stuff, because it really does immerse you in a creative form of space, even though it's kind of like a forced, strange, cramped space. It's still, you surprise yourself with what you're able to accomplish.
Yeah, just 2 or 3 days sometimes. I mean, like, oh my goodness. And man, some of those, I loved the big tuna.
Oh yeah,
that must have been fun. Did you do that one with George?
Yeah, that was our very first challenge ever. Yeah, because the first one was kind of, it was a spot. I forget the terms. Even was it the spotlight or something challenge?
Yeah. I think it was the spotlight. I forgot, but it was one of those just foundation. Was it a foundation challenge?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and we had to use just stuff that they provided for us. Yeah. And
then you went on to Big Tuna. The second chumming was pretty wild.
Chum bag.
Yeah. And of course, that dark water clown, man.
That's out of all of the ones that anybody, both seasons 7 and 11, anybody that beats me ever, or even online or something, that's the one they always bring up, is the Murky, the dark water clown.
Murky is his name.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because that I just used to have to go back to a kid, I used to have these nightmares, the reoccurring nightmares of these like weird, sinewy, fleshy people that look like that without clown makeup, and that were always trying to pull me into this like black tarry water. And so they actually, to find out, here's a fun story, to find out our fears without us knowing it was going to be for a challenge, they had us fill out this whole like questionnaire, and there was a whole bunch of just dumb red herring questions on it, but one of them was like our childhood fear, and I put dark water, and that's why like Dina got tornadoes and stuff. So it's like that's how they knew, because none of us knew that was going to be used against us. So everybody's like, oh my god, how are you going to do a dark water clown? And I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'm just going to do the thing that I saw in the dark water and put clown makeup on it. And it resonated with everybody. It was pretty scary. I'm thinking, a fun thing too is Randy and I started a Patreon recently, and that's so every month. This is our first month that we're like getting into it, but we're gonna do. I'm gonna do makeups, and we're gonna do photo shoots every month that we put up on the Patreon. And I think I'm going to redo the Murky, the dark water clown, but make it like fun and sort of like a sexy boudoir shoot with Randy.
Why not?
Yeah.
Mix it up.
Totally. If anybody wants to check out the Patreon, it's patreon.com/RanCig.
That's right. We'll list that in the show notes, kids.
Cool. RANCIG.
Some other weird quick questions about the show. Now, how far was it from where you stayed to the makeup studio?
Oh yeah. Oh well, yeah. I'll just. But yeah, so the first house on season 7 was maybe like 10 minutes away from the thing, and that place was like super haunted, like legit haunted. Yeah, there was apparently it was like a historical house that was, I guess it's a historical landmark, and they can't tear it down, but there's all these apartment buildings built around it. But the owner has like flew in shamans and stuff. They like sacrifice chickens in there to like expel whatever is in there, but it didn't work. And apparently there's this ghost lady that hangs out on the stairs, and the stairs lead right up to where I was sleeping. And I woke up one night and facing this door that would always open, and nobody ever went out there to a balcony. And there was this shadow figure of, I could tell it was a lady, but it was just screaming in my face, and it was like, it sounded like TV static. It was, and I couldn't move. I don't know if you've ever had sleep paralysis or anything like that. I believe it's much more than just a clinical sleep paralysis, but yeah, no, it was scary. I just straight up saw it, and I was like, "You go away, you leave me alone now." And other people would hear like whisperings in their ears at night, and just all kinds of kooky things went on in the house.
Must have been inspiring for the makeup, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Channel it. Now, was the judging area close to the makeup studio? Because when it's like time's up and they make you exit and do last looks, how far do you have to go for that?
Yeah, so basically we do the 4 hours of application in the shop, in the lab, where you see us doing all of the making of everything, and then they call time, and then the models, they get in we call it the party bus, because it was actually they had to rent a bus that was big enough for people to get in with their big costumes and stuff, so it had like a stripper pole in it and stuff. But so they get in a bus, we get in vans, and we drive maybe like 20 minutes to the sound stage where the reveal stage is. And then we have lunch, and so the models eat their lunch too. So a lot of times we wouldn't like glue down mouths or things before last looks, because it's just going to get wrecked. But the models did their best not to screw it up when they were eating. And then after lunch, everybody goes in, you do your last looks, and then and then we wait, and then they take all the models in there and they shoot what's called the creature porn, is what they called it. And they shoot like all of the close-up shots that you see. And then they have us come out, and then they have them come out as we're watching. And then they do the judging thing. And then the whole thing is like it's like a 12-hour day. It's like those models, man, are troopers.
Between getting the makeup on, the last looks, and the judging process, how long is that actual judging stage?
Yeah, the judging stuff is like anywhere from 4 to 6 hours sometimes. Depends, yeah. Oh yeah, it's we're standing there for a long time.
Oh my goodness!
Now that's why, like, anytime you see anybody in heels, it's just like, oh girl, I don't know how you're doing it right now.
Really? That's why I think why Mackenzie. I could see why Mackenzie was taking a chair in between when she was talking with the judges and bringing you guys out. Oh my goodness! And how much downtime did you have between filming episodes? Was there a lot?
So typically there was a flow that most of the flow was like, all right, so the first day of making stuff, second day of making stuff, third day is application, and then somebody goes home, and then you wake up the next morning and challenge intro. It's just like back to back.
Really?
Yeah, so it's this weird emotional like ups and downs, like especially as season 7 rolled around, or 11, I'm sorry. We were all friends by that point, so every single elimination, even right from the beginning, was really like sad, because these are our friends, and you don't want to see anybody go home. And so it was like really emotional, and then excited again, because we're going to start a new challenge, and then somebody went home, and wake up, be excited. It's like really strange. But they would do that for about like 2 or 3 episodes, and then we would have a break day where we would just do interviews. So like that's when you see the talking heads, where we would go in and talk about so anytime you see someone talking about like a close-up, that's actually after the fact. So, and then we'll do our interviews, and then we go back into shooting again. Same thing.